Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stars and Stripes Cup Series presented by Sharp Apparel. We've gotten all the way through the season for tonight, where it is time to crown a champion to see who will be marching their way to saying that they are a champion of the Stars and Stripes Racing Series. This is season number 4. We've had 3 previous seasons and 2 champions, but tonight we have our new 4 drivers. They're going to be marching it down to see who can be etched in the history of the Stars and Stripes Series. Your final 4 drivers racing here tonight. We're going to be seeing ourselves with Chris Essery in the number 10. He's had a fabulous season. The stats show he's going to be a driver to watch out for, but is there enough magic in this 10 to find himself up front to potentially win or be the highest runner of our final 4? And as well, the driver that really dominated and showed his strength early in the season, Ken Campbell, won the first 3 races in a row. Since then, it's been a little topsy-turvy, a little bit of a roller coaster all season long. Can he come back at the end of the season and clutch up? We've also have our 2-time championship winner, and as well, reigning and defending champion of this season, last season, Kyle McCoy in the 7. He's coming in. He won season 1 in the ARCA series and last season of the Xfinity. And our final spot had to be a late substitution. Our Rookie of the Year sensation, Cameron Sarton, had some work obligations, subbing out that of the 13. We put in the 12, who we thought was in, but after the math was calculated late after our broadcast, by 1 point, he missed out on our final 4. But after the substitution, Andrew Medlin is in, the biggest underdog just based off of stats. We'll see if the 12 can get it done. But all the action here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall, and as well, going to be Robert Moyer joining us as our producer this evening. Thank you for joining us again, ladies and gentlemen. It is your Stars and Stripes Championship race, that by Sharp Apparel. Thank you for joining us. It's been a long season, 19 races, and Zach, it's all down to the concrete here at Nashville Superspeedway.
Yeah, what a place to pick here for a championship race, the Nashville Superspeedway on the concrete here of this track. One of the newer tracks to the iRacing service and one of the newer tracks to the NASCAR Cup Series. So it's definitely, I think, a little bit of a learning curve for a lot of these drivers out here. So it's a little bit of an even playing field. Right now, though, as we head off into this qualifying sessions, it just started here about 19 seconds in. This is what I think is going to be one of the most important things about this racetrack. Getting up front early and often here. Track position, track position, track position. This 750 horsepower package here has a lot of off-throttle time. You're going to want to get up front and get up in that clean air.
And it's been so interesting to watch these drivers throughout the season. Again, this isn't the Gen 6 Cup car that the drivers are racing in. They're not in what we call now NASCAR's current Cup Series in the next gen car. So these drivers, they've gotten a feel. Car has not been modified that often throughout this season. So the drivers had a little bit of time to try to solidify how they want to run this track. But Zach, here on the concrete, there's been, I think, of only one driver that has dominated, really. That was Kyle McCoy coming into this season. But we have seen some other drivers show some good speed. Interested to see who else can come out and try to get the best run for themselves.
Yeah, no doubt. Kyle McCoy in previous past, you would say the concrete really suits the 7 Machine, Bristol, and Dover. He's always run very, very well at. But we've seen him so far in practice be the quickest driver also, so that bodes well. But right now, our first couple lap times clicking in, it's going to be Ken Campbell up atop the leaderboard with a 29.57. We'll see if the second laps are quicker, but with these tires getting up to a little bit more heat, maybe a little more grip, as right now this track is, with these overcast conditions that we got right now with a lot of cloud covers, it's a pretty cool track. I mean, 100 degrees is still warmer, but man, that's on the cooler side of things here on iRacing.
And if anything, the drivers love to see that cooler sense. But topping the board, Kyle McCoy trying his best, but then swamped right at the last minute. Ken Campbell now taking the lead spot for the pole position for the 15, trying to get his 3rd pole position of the season. The driver that dominated the first half of the season had to really find his groove late. Certainly is looking quick, and those 2 poles previously at Talladega and Auto Club. Ken Campbell has got to be feeling good with that one.
Coming out the gate swinging really tough right there with the fastest time we've seen all night long here in the session. That's Ken Campbell in that 15. So Great job by him. Definitely put the work in this week, knowing he would be here fighting for a championship in that 15 machine. But, you know, qualifying is going to be half the battle. This is very, very crucial to getting a good pit box. First of all, there, King Campbell going to have that final pit box that'll help him if we do get any cautions or any pit stops that'll come down to the wire there. But also, just like I said earlier in the race, getting that clean air and track position out front, it is so vital for being able to keep your tires underneath you and a very tough track to pass indeed. So we'll see how it works out. But I tell you what, this concrete track can tear the tires up if you're not careful as more times continue to click through. As it looks like Grattan there jumped up the 5th too for the 46, so another good qualifying run for him.
Really showing very good speed for himself. Here's the 33, that of Brian Burchett, who's going to be on his final qualifying lap. All the drivers were given 2 laps to put down their fastest time, and they had 5 minutes to do so. We have ourselves 1 minute and 30 seconds left. A little bit of a smaller field than what we've had previously throughout this season. Looking like we potentially could have 22 drivers here tonight, as we're still waiting on Trey Jackson and Derek Offerman to finish off their time. But Burchett going to be 6th on the board. And that second time, not going to be able to best it at all. As we take a look here at Derek Offerman trying to put down his time, and looks like both laps invalidated for that of the 20. He's now just getting practice time for himself. But Trey Jackson, a driver that was an underdog, we did not know if he had a chance to make the Final Four, just missed out. But right now, he's still looking to find a little bit of speed. Going to be 18th after his first lap here, coming across the line for his second time. Trey Jackson, we'll see what the movement is going to be, up to 12th for the 31.
Good jump up the board there by Trey Jackson, and that's going to slot down Chris Essery down to that 13th, or sorry, down to the 14th position for him in that 10 machine, and along with Andrew Mellon down to the 17th position. So Chris Essery there in 14th, Andrew Mellon back in 17th, compared to Ken Campbell and Kyle McCoy, who were there 1st and 2nd. Tell 2 different tapes there for qualifying, but that's something that, you know, I'm not kind of surprised. Chris Essery, Mellon, they've both kind of struggled this season with qualifying. They've been the drivers that have really made the big moves through the race, and here tonight, 150 laps, they're going to have a good portion of time to be able to do that.
Yeah, Chris Essery, very strong qualifying in the first half of the season, kind of fell off as the season progressed. But qualifying coming to a close here in just about 5 seconds. Again, thank you for joining us. Thursday night racing action on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We're excited. There's a lot of big news. We're excited. We're going to talk more about some of the more amazing sponsors that we've actually partnered up. iRacing, iFlag has partnered up with us here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We'll talk about them more later on because they're gritting up. We're getting ready to get racing here. Championship racing action on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Again, my name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall, Rutmore running the productions. And here is your starting lineup for tonight's championship race. Our top 2, they're going to be 2 of our favorites coming into the night. Based off of the stats, he's been the man to watch out for, but does he have the clutch factor? That's going to be the key. Ken Campbell taking your pole award in his 3rd pole of the season. In 2nd place, it's going to be Kyle McCoy, a 2-time champion here for the Stars and Stripes Series. Can he make it 3 here tonight? Then there's going to be Kyle Bowling, who just missed out on a championship run, as well as that of Nick Holland, Jason Grattan, Brian Burchett, as well as that of Christopher Wade, Cole Sacchetti, Aaron Hale, and that's going to be Scott Rickard, one of our other former champions. He's going to be back in 10th place.
In the 11th position, it's going to go to the 209 of Travis Dart, starting alongside him. In 12th, it's going to be Trey Jackson. In 13th, it's going to be Martin Perry. Alongside him in his row will be the 10 of Chris Escher. They're starting 14th. 15th is going to go to 18 of Paul House, with 16th being the 25 of Nate Lynch. Another Final Four contender there, Andrew Miller, and our final one there in 17th position. Alongside him will be Mike Lynch in 18th. 19th and 20th is going to go to Brian Lynch and George Copeson.
Then it's going to be that of Doug Pearson, 21st, and that of Derek Offerman going to be in 22nd, as Randy Cornwell going to be our race control for this evening. So 22 drivers racing here tonight. And again, want to give note, Cameron Sarton did officially make our Final Four, but he opted out because he had that of work obligations, so will not be racing for a championship. But Rookie of the Year for the 13, and here's some of the stats for Cameron Sarton, again, who was officially in our Final Four, but not going to be racing, gave that position to Andrew Medlin, who was 5th in points. But for that of Cameron Sarton, he had 2 wins, that of 8 top 5s, 13 top 10s, and as well, 4 pole awards. Got to give giant credit to Cameron Sarton. What a season it was for this rookie. I cannot wait to see what he's going to do next season, but it is a shame that he had to miss out on this championship race.
No doubt. That is a really big shame because, man, he was probably one of the favorites, no doubt indeed. There's 4 tough drivers here we still got, but, man, Sarton, he was one that really showed even at Dover, at that concrete track, he was super dominant there, looking especially on the long runs. And here tonight, he's not going to be available to race. It's going to be unfortunate, but I tell you, Andrew Medlin, going to have to watch out for him. He was good on the long run there at Dover also. He's going to have to be working his way back up from 17th, but he has definitely got the driver ability to do that. So we'll see what Medlin can get done, along with Chris Estrie, because they try to work their way to catch up to these two starting on the front row.
Going to be a hard-fought battle again. Your final four that are racing for a championship. All they have to do is finish ahead of those other three drivers. Kyle McCoy, Chris Essery, Ken Campbell, and as well, Andrew Medlin. Going to be your four drivers in the chat. We got a poll. Who do you think's going to win the championship? Mark it down, because we're about to go racing, and we'll figure out after 150 laps who's winning the Stars and Stripes Championship by that of Sharp Apparel. We'll find out. Ken Campbell, Kyle McCoy, pace cars out of the way. It's time to go racing here at Nashville Superspeedway and see who's getting the Season 4 championship as we're away, and it's going to be the 15 getting the better launch, but a little bit of a checkup on the inside.
Yeah, a little bit of checkup. That's going to allow Kyle McCoy there to slot down in the second position just like he wanted. That was going to be probably the one worry he had on this start here. Kyle Boland, though, not the greatest start for him, so he slots back. But look at this, Kyle McCoy wasted no time in the 7 machine. He goes to the inside for the lead as they head off into 3.
All the drivers, all 22, still running, but there on the outside is going to be the 15, ducking low, trying to get a better run. It's going to be the 7, side by side across the line, and it's going to be that of Ken Campbell leading the way. But if this was any other race, we'd be talking about, hey, that's a lap led, that's a bonus point to be grabbed, but it's not about the bonus points. It's about where you're running currently, and for the lead, they're still side by side, and it's going to be that of Kyle McCoy trying his best to get the run, but Zach, that outer lane, looking strong here early.
Yeah, the outer lane definitely very, very strong, especially off in 1 and 2. The top there in 3 and 4 doesn't have as much grip as the bottom does, but down there in 1 and 2, it's a very good lane to defend and make positions and possibly even set up a pass. But here goes McCoy again. He's definitely being aggressive here early, and I think that shows he wants to get out here and control this race. He wants to be the driver out front that's dictating the pace. He doesn't want to be the driver that's behind, having to, stay in tow, because it's always so much easier to save your tires when you're able to dictate how fast you want to go and control the others behind you.
Continue to watch our leaders because Nick Holland is on the move. He's closing in for that second place battle, but I want to give an update for that of Chris Essery as well as Andrew Medlin. Chris Essery qualified 14th, now up to 11th. Done a great job moving up 3 positions. Andrew Medlin going to be up to 13th now after qualifying back in 17th. And Zach, this has kind of been how both these drivers been running for most of the season. If they don't qualify well, we know they're going to march their way through this field.
Yeah, I have no doubts about that. They will be up in that top 5 at some point during this race. These two very well at doing this. They've been known to qualify for the back like they have here. And you can see Chris Essery, he's just sizing up the field. He's got Aaron Hale directly there in front of him, the 4 machine, the 46 and Jason Bratton up top. He's going to see these two races side by side and maybe try to slide in behind. That's the thing. Sometimes you try to take advantage of drivers racing side by side like this in front of them because you have the advantage to use that whole racetrack. And now look at this. Yes, he is. He's going to try to get to the outside of his 4 machine and try to hold him down here as they enter into 3 and hopefully not let that 4 clear. He might be able to have positions to head off on 1 and 2.
And here comes that blue and white 12 machine, excuse me. That's going to be Andrew Medlin closing in. And he's been doing a great job this season of just recovering. It was not the strongest season for that of Medlin, but it certainly has been growing. He got his 1 win at Kentucky. And for Andrew Medlin, he certainly has been trying to grow, find a little bit more speed each week. Comes in, you look at the stats, weakest stats of all the drivers. Best stat was his win. That's just 1. That kept him tied with 5th and that. Everything else was outside of the top 5 overall. So we'll see how Andrew Medlin can move forward. But a driver that knows how to carve his way through the field, I think a good driver to follow. There is Aaron Hale, who qualified that in 9th. He's losing 2 positions, but you know that the 4 as well, very good at finishing up in the top 10 to top 5 at the end of the races.
Oh, no doubt indeed. And 1 there at Dover. So taking a little experience from that concrete track, maybe over here to Nashville to apply in that 4 machine. And, that's what Aaron Hill's probably saying what could have been this season, because just missed out on moving on to that round of final 8, those 8 drivers there that had the chance to be able to make it to this final 4. If he would have made it to that round of 8, he would have been one of these final 4 drivers getting that win at Dover. So it's definitely bittersweet end of the season for him, but he's got to be looking up as we head off into the next one. As we look back here, Scott Rickard's starting to put a little pressure on this 33 machine. And Scott Rickard, he's had a tough tough ending to his season. It'd be good to end it on a good note here for this 05 and have a strong run.
Yeah, I was caught up with some misfortunes last week at that when we were at Homestead and was not able to finish out the race the way that he wanted. Missed out on the Final Four and an opportunity to win his second championship in the Stars and Stripes series. And for the 05, he won the championship back in season 2 in the trucks. I think, Zach, you and I at the top of the season, we both thought that the 05 certainly had a good opportunity to race for a championship. Not the way he wanted the season to end. Didn't make the Final Four, but this final race still can try to get that momentum for the next season.
Oh, no doubt. This definitely can roll over to that next season. Yes, it's a new car that they'll be going into, but just because you finish a season, I mean, if he was saying to finish this race bad and continue his bad luck streak, he would probably have a probably pretty bad outlook on the next season coming up and saying, man, I just need to have some good luck, hopefully. Not thinking about really going out there and winning a race for a championship, more about less just making it through the races. If he can go out here and get a good finish tonight, he'll have that same confidence going off in the next season. Say, hey, man, I'm going to be able to fight for a championship. Once again, it's going to be a clean slate, and that's what he's going to want here. There's no shot tonight for that championship, but it is a shot to build that confidence, no doubt.
As we're on the back hood watching that as we're looking at that of Brian Burchett and Scott Ricker trying to catch up to the 29. This is Cole Sacchetti, and Sacchetti, one of the drivers that's been moving up, tied with the third biggest mover, up 4 positions for the 29. The other driver that's up 4 positions going to be Scott Rickard in that 6th place position. As we look up at our top 3, we're still on board with the 29. There's Nick Holland, Kyle McCoy, Ken Campbell, and they're all still keeping it close within a couple of tenths of one another. But Zach, here at that of Nashville Superspeedway, like you noted on, kind of new for these drivers, new to iRacing. Concrete here, it's not even a mile and a half in length. It's 1.33 miles for these drivers, but it certainly, I would say, runs very closely to the mile and a half tracks.
Very, very close, Sam. It's I wouldn't compare it really to any other track we go to on the circuit, just due to the fact that this package is. Scott Ricker must have had a mistake there that dropped him back now, battling with Christopher Wade behind this group here. But just this racetrack in general drives so different due to the package they come here with. We come here with the low downforce, high horsepower, 750 horsepower package, and that there produces a very different driving style. Very much off throttle time, not a lot of grip here. These drivers are rolling through these corners, and it takes a different driving style than most of them would have to use throughout the rest of the season. So definitely probably getting used to that, and also the tire wear is going to affect these cars even more here due to that 750 horsepower package. It's just going faster into the entry of the corners, and a little bit more power to light up those rear tires to damage them. So it is overall with the 750 horsepower package, it just changes the aspect of the racing. It's very different than anything else we have on the circuit.
Well, I was talking about how the fact that we were seeing that of Cole Sacchetti and also for a second there Scott Rickard moving up together. Well, the biggest movers of the night is the 05. Got extremely loose just about 3 laps ago into that turn 3, and that's why he's lost all this momentum and is still trying to recover from it. But our 2 biggest movers so far are 2 other championship contenders, Chris Essery, Andrew Medlin, 7th and 8th currently. And for that 12, biggest mover with up 9 positions, and as well the 10, going to be up 7 positions. They're cruising here, Zach. We knew they were going to do this, but now it gets into those mind games. We're 15 laps in. Tire wear going to be a factor to watch out for.
No doubt indeed. This is definitely where the tire wear is going to really start to kick in. Right now, the lap times are starting to drop away for these drivers. Almost about a second of fall off here for them now at this point of the run, and it'll only continue to get a little bit worse for them as they go. As Medlin's been able to work up to Chris Essery, but those two have really worked through the field together after the first couple laps. And they're not far behind Ken Campbell. I mean, right now only 2.5 seconds is Andrew Medlin, and that's very good considering you started back in 17th, 16 laps into this race. Got to be very, very happy if you're this 12 machine working its way up to the field, and that's what we've seen him do classically through the whole entire season.
As we're right on board with this, Travis Dart, in a sense, what it's like further back of the field is 05 is still falling now out of the top 10. And almost soon to be falling out of the top 15. Scott Rickard's tires showing if you just have one slip up, also if you get trapped on the outside on these older tires, you are going backwards. Once again, losing another position. Going to go back to 13th now. Goes to 05 as we stay on board with this. To Travis Dart, kind of one of the fan favorites throughout the season. And Travis Dart, he's hoping to finish out this race here tonight as strong as possible. But also want to give another reminder to those that are watching and on YouTube and in the chat. We do still have the poll. It is open. Who do you think is going to win here tonight? Currently, right now, it is being tied of the fan votes, thinking that kind of Kyle McCoy or Chris Esser could find their way into victory lane. Ken Campbell with 25%, and it's going to be poor Andrew Medlin. No votes. No one thinks the 12's got an opportunity. Coming in as the biggest underdog, the substitution. I mean, that's one of those things where you got to be loving for that of Andrew Medlin. You got zero real pressure to run well. You're just coming in, you're saying, all right, let's see what happens here tonight. But for the drivers that we're seeing on screen, our front two, Ken Campbell, Kyle McCoy, this is where the pressure is at for these drivers.
Yeah, pressure is starting to mount up here for this top two positions. They build a gap back to Cole Sacchetti, and this is what you're going to see with this package here. Very big gaps in between this field. Everybody's going to be able to pull away from each other. Draft really not mattering here when it comes to this racetrack. But one thing I will tell you, right now, looking overall lap time-wise, Chris Essery, Andrew Medlin, they're just as quick as our leaders, and we're making a pass last time by running just the same lap time as them. So we'll see if this continues. The 10 and 12 seem very, very quick as this run's continued on, or is this our front two saving some tire here for a longer run? So that's always the question. Did they burn their stuff up here in this first 20 laps, or have they managed it better and are quicker at this point?
I was looking at the stats, getting the notes prepared for tonight's race. And Zach, I got to say, Chris Essery surprising me with his stats. I know that he had his one win this season, and it came in at a perfect time for himself, winning at winning at that of Gateway a few weeks back, going in the middle of the season. But I got to say, for the 10, you look at his top 5s and top 10s, he's both. For top 5s, he's the definite second place runner there with 9 top 5s, tied with that of second in the top 10s category with 13. The stats are showing that the 10 can finish well. The goal is, again, there's no points on the line. It's only about finishing ahead of those 3 other Final Four contenders. See if the 10's got the magic here, as he's now caught up to that of 5th, 4th, and 3rd on track. Chris Essery on the move to crack the top 5.
Yeah, he is looking very, very good. I gotta say, and looking back at it, you brought up the win there at Gateway. What a track to win there. I mean, had the battle with this teammate there, got it done, was able to get the victory. And, that track also under the 750 power horse package. So, I mean, this is very, very similar to how that would be, different tracks in general, but still very awkward tracks, very, very different types of racing. Chris Escher here showing once again, this is suiting his style as he's made it past Burchett. I think he'll quickly be getting by these next two, Holland and this 29 Cole Sacchetti, as they continue to battle.
They'll try to figure out where they want to go, as the 10's going to duck it down underneath that of Nick Holland. Holland going to be a sitting duck for that one, giving an opportunity. Chris Essery now up to 4th, trying to move up into 3rd, and now going to be 1.6 seconds back. This has been a great marker for this Chris Essery. Been looking at the lap times now after trying to make these passes. He's running slower than Ken Campbell and Kyle McCoy, but for about 2 laps ago, the 10 was the fastest car on track. Currently, that goes actually to Andrew Medlin that last lap. It does get changed up to our front 2. Again, both the 10 and the 12 were making passes. So that's going to cost them on time. But this is where we're going to see where the 10's at. How fast, or if he can catch up to our leaders, because he is finding a little bit of extra speed. But Cole Sacchetti pressuring down in turn 3. As our leaders see that gap, it's still growing, as here's the difference of the drivers currently.
Yeah, we'll see here what the lap time difference is. This time he had a clean lap compared to having to make passes before. Our leader of Ken Campbell, 31.22 to Chris Essery's 31.23 there. So right now, Kyle McCoy there very quick with a 31.183. Able to make some good time. So yeah, Essery a little bit evened out now once he's got the 3rd, but he's got track position. If this race was to get stalled back out, and same for Medlin now behind him, he's making a pass for 4th actually on Sacchetti. So right now, our top 4 Final Four contenders, they are our 4 top drivers.
I mean, doesn't it always feel like you get to these championship races and it's the cream of the crop? They're up there, they're challenging, and they're now going to be our Final 4. The goal, just finish ahead of the other Final 4 racers and you win the championship. Well, our Final 4 are running 1 through 4 on track. As we're coming up to lap 28 here at the Stars and Stripes Championship by Sharp Apparel for the Season 4 Championship. Who's going to get it done? And Zach, we're only, again, on lap 28 of 150. This is still going to be a marathon for a lot of these drivers, but and a reminder for those that are watching, these drivers have no fast repairs, meaning they don't have a safety net. If they get any type of damage, they brush the wall, get contact by another driver, that damage is going to stay unless they come into pit road and get that damage repaired for themselves. As well, only 3 extra sets of tires in pit road. It's going to be a while before they think about using up those tires.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to be thinking of how they're going to play this strategy out. You know, I don't see anybody be able to do any type of one stop here tonight, especially got a 90% fuel load. Don't see that being able to be done. So I'm thinking we're going to have to be going for a 2-stop here if we stay green. So I'm looking at that first pit stop around lap 50 is when that pit window will possibly open up. And then once again around lap 100. So we'll see what these drivers elect to do. But I think we're already about halfway through this run. And look at this, Medlin here tracking down this 10 machine. Medlin again showing he can work his way through the field and keep the tires underneath him. If we get a whole reset of this field here, these two could be very well in good positions. But I can tell you what, those front two, I think they might have been playing a little bit of games here with saving some tire, because now their pace is really starting to show on these guys from third on back.
I mean, they've been just gapping the rest of the field and doing a great job at it. I'm looking also at the gap between our leaders back to those that are running back in last place. It's still about a half a track difference between that of Ken Campbell and this battling that's going on for 21st position. George Kovacic going to be on the outside lane for the 65, and then you've got Derek Offerman in the 20 going to be down below. And so these drivers, yes, they're racing as hard as they can, but they at least have a half a track. They don't have to worry about going a lap down just yet, but they might want to think about it when we start to see pit stops. Like you said, Zach, around lap 50 could be the time that we start seeing some of the drivers trickling into the wall. That's Doug Pierce who has issues.
Yeah, Doug Pierce there trying to get it back going straight, and unfortunately for him, it looks like he just caught the wall, but is able to keep it here going now as he heads off into 3. But yeah, that could have been a scary moment for a few guys there as he's got it back going straight. But yeah, this is getting to be a little bit of an interesting part of this run here, definitely, as the tires are starting to wear. But I got to give credit to Kyle McCoy up front. He's been able to stay right in the tire tracks to that 15. If he is at any point able to get past that 15, I think he could run away with this thing. It is very tough to do what he's doing, like riding in the tracks to that 15 for as long as he has.
I feel like this is what Kyle McCoy just does. You think of last season at Dover or some of the other tracks we've seen Kyle McCoy win. He's been patient in the first half of the race, and then he figures out the code of how he wants to really utilize those tires. Seems like after that first pit stop, he recognizes, okay, how aggressive was I on these tires or non-aggressive? Then he starts to really find that marker where the 7 can just take off and find the speed. And that's why he's a 2-time champion in this series, trying to become a 3-time champion if he can figure out how to get by Ken Campbell. And for Campbell, we'll look back at last season, a driver that showed sparks in little moments of brilliance, and at times we thought maybe there was a chance for a win, but absolutely surprised us up in the booth. I think surprised as well some of the drivers. Ken Campbell has just been on fire, coming in with 3 wins, all at the start of the season. 1 Daytona, 1 Michigan, 1 Atlanta. And all 3 of those tracks, we thought maybe we won't ever see another driver win, and then kind of fell off in the winning column. But he's first in top 5s with 12. That's 3 more top 5s than the second most driver, and that's Chris Etzery with 9. Just showing the consistency that this 15 has, and as well going to be tied with second in top 10s with 13. Ken Campbell, look at the stats. He is the favorite, but he's got to find a way to beat the driver that has the most wins. That's Kyle McCoy with 4.
Yeah, that's tough to do there. You've seen how explosive Kyle McCoy has been. He's had ups and downs, I think. Kyle McCoy's had, it's been really tall mountains and really low valleys there for him. So his peaks have been very, very high, but he's also had those tough finishes. So I think that's where with the other way was where Ken Campbell's been just so dead on consistent, and it's been so impressive to watch all season. I tell you one thing though, he's wanting to come out here and get this championship and get this final race win, because it's got to be weighing on his mind. Man, I got those 3 wins in a row, but that was at the beginning of the season. It's been so long since that point. That is tough from a driver mental point to miss victory lane that long and be close as many times as him. It definitely gets to that point where you're saying, will I ever get back there? So it's something you got to question as we're watching this great battling going back here around Grattan and Burchett and Holland.
Our front four, our final four, they've really spaced themselves out from the rest of the field, and both are just staying in line in a tango. But the rest of the field is saying, hey, you've been only talking about the final four. Well, why not show some racing action? Side by side going to be for that 10th place position. Here comes Aaron Hale on the inside, pressuring that of Kyle Bowling, as well as we're going to be seeing that of Christopher Wade going to be in that 15th spot. But everyone's slash and dash and think about potentially going that of 3 wide. But I would highly, not recommend the apron. That would be probably the worst place to go on the straightaway. There's some tracks where the apron can work, but Zach, that is probably one of the most dangerous places to be for these drivers, just because of the really heavy transition. But some drivers, you never know, might think about getting risky going on the apron later in this race.
Yeah, I mean, you can take that chance of putting it down there on that apron, but that transition, like you're speaking of, Sam, is just very, very sketchy. And, if you're doing a qualifying lap, you will see people use that, but just during the race, it's so unlikely, and especially on older tires. As the run goes on, it gets worse and worse. So you'll see these guys probably not try to do that, but you never know. Someone could attempt it. Is the racing surface there? It is not out of bounds, so drivers are known to go there. But as we look back here at this 05, seems like he's had some trouble, maybe gotten to the wall, and his night continues to get worse. And Scott Rickard, his season is just, man, what a start, what a middle portion of the season. He was so dominant, and then came into the playoffs, and it just went really, really wrong in these last 7-8 races.
Yeah, that last lap out of turn 4, you thought he had a little bit more space to let that car just work its way higher, but got into the outside wall and testing the limits. That wall is not your friend. And for the 05, like I said, it's kind of a snowball type of a night. He was looking strong, running up in the top 10, close to the top 5, and now is just trickling his way backwards. Scott Rickard, this is not the way that his season wanted to go, but Zach, I mean, I know you've tested and ran a little bit of the next-gen car. That is what next season, Season 5, is going to. I mean, it's a completely different beast than what these drivers are handling now, but, I mean, looking at the different series that have been ran so far, again, Season 1 was in the ARCA car, Season 2 was in trucks, Xfinity was for Season 3. This, for Season 4, they were in the Gen 6 Cup car, and now for Season 5, going to be the next-gen. Are there any, you would say, similarities between any of the cars to this next gen that they're going in next season? I know it's a little bit too far thinking ahead, but that is where we're going to next.
Well, it definitely has similar tendencies, especially at the moment right now. Some of the drafting, some of the side drafting aero stuff that you can play with the Gen 6 is there with that car. So those similar things will transfer over, but one thing that won't transfer over is the amount of throttle time. Very much more lifting. A lot of tracks have a lot more horsepower with that 670 horsepower package at every track. So a lot of mile and a halfs and intermediates. We're going faster than we've ever went before in a long time. I mean, Michigan, I know from certain practices, we've hit up to 200 mile an hour in that car in the pack. So that's something you haven't seen in a real long time at intermediate racing. Is these guys are just, I mean, dogfighting back here for about fifth old back here as Holland's got away from him, but Burchett here, Sacchetti, and Grattan, I've been watching them all battle as we talked about this next-gen car, and they've really been going at it, Sam. But I tell you what, that next-gen car next season, it's going to throw these guys for a loop. It's a big learning curve, I feel like, for a lot of us, and it's going to change up the racing, I think, a little bit, especially as it begins to, get updated and grow more and more, because that's the thing. They're starting to get their first bit of data from that car now, and we'll really get to see what, iRacing can do with them.
And do want to give note, our first, that of a DNF of the night, going to be Paul House. Dr. House has been doing a little bit of start and park for most of the season, and he is going to be done. But, oh, boy, on screen, that of going to be seen Christopher Wade really pinched by Trey Jackson, and also going to be seeing Sketty all on top of one another. Again, this battling that we see, this is about 8th back to that of 11th, and it's still raging on, and starting to see that of Trevor Dart getting in the mix, as well as the 44 of Kyle Bowling thinking about making some moves here. But Zach, it's most of the field, they're now running a full 2 seconds off of what their best times were. That tire wear, it is gone at this point. You're just hoping and crossing your fingers that you can make it to the end.
Oh, no doubt, indeed. The tire wear is at the point now where you're just trying to hold on if your drivers that are struggling. And I think one of those drivers there to see Trey Jackson make the pass on the 29 machine is he continues to move forward in that 31. But the one thing I'll tell you is that dirty air has not helped that 7 of Kyle McCoy. He's finally, I think, starting to feel those effects as he is now about 8/10, almost upwards of a second back from his 15 to Ken Campbell as they cross the line. He's really starting to struggle here, but luckily for him, like I said, I think pit window will start to open up around lap 50 here, so not too much longer for this 7 machine, but Ken Campbell is definitely liking what he's seeing out here for rearview mirror right now.
Wondering when we're going to see pit road be utilized. And first one coming in of those that are up in the top 15, Cole Sketty going to come into pit road for the 29. And a couple of other drivers starting to come over the radio thinking about pit road. But McCoy getting early and soon close to that outside wall. Going to search for every little bit. And our first of our final 4, Chris Essery hitting pit road.
This is going to be interesting to see what type of time does he gain here from this stop. This is pretty early here on lap 47, coming by to complete that for us. So that's a little bit earlier than I thought he would want to come in, but he's trying to get that little bit of an undercut to help bring some of that time advantage back into him, especially at this point here. We've been very much running similar lap times here for the last, I'd say, 15 to 20 laps here. Really, since they've got to the 31 2s and 3s, they've been running similar things. As look, there's Kyle McCoy now from second. He's down pit road.
Not wanting to give that big of an advantage to Chris Essery, but this has kind of been that of the playoffs kind of run for the majority of these drivers. Is for the playoffs, Kyle McCoy's been known for pitting first early and then making the transition to seeing how he's going to be running later on as kind of being the later driver to pit once we get to late stages of this race, which should be around lap 100, the next pit stop for a lot of these drivers. But here comes Aaron Hill, as well as a couple of other drivers now coming into pit road. And Zach, there's been only about 2 or 3 drivers that I've been watching that have been having kind of scares of getting loose and having issues majority of the time into the corner. But tight run on the exit, that outside wall, been kind of flirting with a lot of these drivers. But for now, 50 laps in, we have been clean and green.
Yeah, very clean and green, very much so far, as it continues to be Ken Campbell up front. 4.6 seconds back to Andrew Medlin now in that second position as more drivers trickle in. That's Jason Grandin, the 46 machine coming to pit road. I wonder when Ken Campbell will elect to do it. I wouldn't wait too much longer if I'm him, especially here with Kyle McCoy jumping out in front of him. And we know Kyle McCoy is going to have the undercut now, probably the advantage once he comes out. But how big of a tire difference will we see as Ken Campbell again here continuing on as Grattan slides into his box?
Looking at the times, though, Ken Campbell's been running faster than when he was around that of Kyle McCoy for the past about 2 or 3 laps. That last time by a little bit slower, but got to give credit to the 15. He still has a little bit of extra speed in these tires, and he's been putting down some great times. Trey Jackson, Brian Bersha, and Kyle Bowling, all 3 going to be coming into pit road this go-around. Going to be leaving us with about that of 10 drivers that need to come to pit road to take that back. 9 as a late entry to pit road going to be George Kovacic, but still out there going to be Ken Campbell, Andrew Medlin, Nick Holland, Christopher Wade, Nate Lynch, Brian Lynch, Mike Lynch, then Martin Perry, and also Derek Offerman. But more drivers over the radio coming into pit road. It's going to be that of Nate Lynch coming in for the 25.
We'll see when does our leader elect to do it. He's still trickling on here as he heads to 3 here. We'll see, does he come down this lap here on lap 53? It looks like he's pretty low here on the exit, but no, continues on for another lap. So he's taking it longer here, trying to take a little bit of advantage. And like you said, he was running very good lap time. So not surprised to see him here stretch this out just a teeny bit longer. Is now Medlin from second. He hits pit road.
3 out of the 4 championship drivers are now have either come to pit road or have gotten done with their service. Last one to do so, our leader, Ken Campbell, got the pole award. He's been out here on track, continuing to put lap after lap. Mike Lynch now coming into pit road. The last drivers needing to come in, going to be that of Ken Campbell, Nick Holland, Wade, that of Brian Lynch, Derek Offerman, going to be those drivers that still need to come into pit road. And that's going to be our top 5 currently. As in our chat, if you haven't voted already, make your vote. Who do you think is going to win the championship here tonight? Our 4 drivers, that of Kyle McCoy, Chris Essery, Ken Campbell, and Andrew Medlin. All that yet they have to do, just finish ahead of the other drivers, and they'll find themselves into winning a championship here for season 4, as we still wait for our top 5 to finish out the first green flag cycle.
And we'll have to see how far these cycles, how big a gap do these put between people. So it'll be interesting to see that. I mean, right now I'm looking at the really a gap between McCoy, Essery, and Medlin, and Medlin staying out that much longer. It pretty big gap between him and McCoy, so King Campbell to come out pretty far behind. Not only I think Kyle McCoy, but I think also Chris Essery. Is he now our leader is slowing down finally, and he's getting himself on the pit road. So from the lead, King Campbell comes down here on lap 56.
And talked about that transition of the racing surface down onto the apron. I mean, that's also going to be a little bit of a scare for the drivers. Nick Holland, Wade, both going to be staying out. Looks like Brian Lynch is well going to stay out for another lap, as well as Derek Offerman. So our front four still are going to need to come into pit road as Ken Campbell comes in and clean ran into a stall. I was watching, did not slide through, but as you're watching this of Christopher Wade, as well as some of the other drivers being passed by the fresher tires, this is something I always bring up. If you're one of the drivers that tries to stay out, hopes for a late yellow as Nick Holland into pit road to get service done, you also got to be thinking about the drivers that have fresh tires around you. They could potentially hinder you from not making it into pit road.
No, very well so. I mean, if you have a car going inside late there, you can't get the pit road. If you have no fuel left, you miss, and that could be you running out of fuel. So that's definitely not what you want to have a case of. If you're trying to get the pit road, you want to make sure it's very clear heading down the back straightaway that you're going to hold that inside line and letting that driver behind you know by communicating them on the radio saying, hey, I'm coming down the pit road. You might want to go around my outside. So that's really the best way to do it there. As you're looking now here at Kyle McCoy, we'll see exactly how far ahead he is. He's going off into 3. Ken Campbell right now coming out of turn 2.
It's 10 seconds is the difference between Kyle McCoy and Ken Campbell. And Campbell now has to pass also lap traffic as the 7 really had a clean green racing surface. Once it got fresh tires and were able to take off, this is when things get a little tricky, because for the 15, that lap traffic, the dirty air, that was a factor that Ken Campbell never really had under this first green flag run. As now into pit road is going to be that of Christopher Wade, and this is going to be finishing up our green flag pit stops here for these drivers. First green flag pit stop, pit cycle for the field, and it's going to be seen that of Kyle McCoy leading the way for himself. Then it's Chris Essery in second, and for Essery, he's losing ground. He's on the slightly just 1 lap older tires. That's 1/10 that he's losing, so the gap going to be 2.8 seconds back. But the true gap that we're watching out for between our leader of that of Kyle McCoy in 4th place, that of Ken Campbell, 8.5 seconds, but it is being cut down quickly.
Yeah, it'll quickly be cut down. I just worry about at some point does it start to even out between those two. And, you know, like you said, he's got to cut through traffic here to get up to it now. As he's down by Grattan, next he'll have Aaron Hill, then he'll have Chris Essery to get by also. So those are 2 strong cars that he's still yet to pass before he gets to McCoy, and that's going to be very, very tough indeed. You know, this is always the tough thing about making a strategy. McCoy goes with this super aggressive strategy. He pits there on lap 48, and that is really going to be pretty aggressive, like I said in my book, about 2 laps earlier than I was thinking. And then, you know, we'll have the 15 of Ken Campbell stretching another 8 laps. So it's completely two different tails there. And then also Medlin here, he stretched a good portion different. So we'll see how these two can make up the time. I think pitting early might have been the call to go, though.
It's looking great right now for Kyle McCoy as we're going to step aside. First green flag pit cycle is done. We are expecting at least 1 more pit stop. Could be the money stop, or will we see yellows that can change up the aspect of this racing for a championship? We'll bring and we'll find out here shortly. We'll be back in just a few here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting.
Start your engines!
4, 3, 2, 1, green screen.
No rear grip whatsoever, up sideways everywhere. Come on, man, do what you can. The vibration in this car is the worst vibration that I've ever had, and the shifter's broken again.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching the Stars and Stripes Cup Series presented by Sharp Apparel, championship racing action at Nashville Superspeedway for that of the Stars and Stripes Championship by Sharp Apparel. Season 4 is this season, and it has been a wild one. We've seen some drivers go on winning streaks. We've seen others see heartbreak. But our final four, Kyle McCoy leading the way with that of Ken Campbell in second, who's running down the 7 with the fresher tires. That of being a total of 8 lap fresher tires is the 15, carving what once was 11 seconds back down to 2.7. As well as we're going to be having that of Chris Essery in third, Andrew Medlin's in fourth. Those are our final four. Medlin coming in as a substitute. That of Cameron Sarton officially was in our final four. Rookie of the Year sensation, had some work obligations and was not able to make tonight's race, giving that a 5th place points runner who missed out by 1 point, Andrew Medlin, last week after Homestead. Ashley comes in as our substitute, an underdog racer. And if you see in chat, we do have a poll. Who do you think's going to win the championship here tonight? Currently, right now, it's Ken Campbell leading the charge with 36%. And then we've got it tied for second with that of Kyle McCoy and Chris Essery, and who needs some more bump-up points. Come on, give some hope to the underdog. Andrew Medlin can now have only that 7%. But with me in the booth is Zach Hall. My name is Sam Zyrop, Warriors Rowing Productions here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. And Zach, it's been a doozy of the race. We only have had one green flag pit stop. It's changed the aspect of this race because Ken Campbell at the start of that cycle was leading. Now it's Kyle McCoy leading as we're on lap 73.
Yeah, this is shook everything up with a little bit of strategy there. They had Ken Campbell lead the whole first run, but now he's in the opposite position. He's doing the job of running down our leader, Kyle McCoy, who's having a little bit of trouble with some lap traffic as we're watching the battle here for third as Medlin closes in on Esther with those fresher tires. Looks like it's working out well for Medlin for pit run a little bit later here this time. Looks like he'll get to possibly outside that 10 as we jump up here to our leader. You can see he's in a little bit of traffic here And this is allowing that 15 to close in even quicker.
Yeah, closing in now going to be 1.5 seconds between first and second, but there is that same lap traffic that's going to be in the way. But for that Kyle McCoy, he needs to get by Derek Offerman quickly here, as we are now on lap 75, halfway through this race, and gives us a moment as we're watching our leader try to get by lap traffic. Give thanks to some of our amazing sponsors. You saw them during our commercial break. iRacing, iFlag. They provide sim racers with the best iFlag visual flag system, and it's been incredible to see iRacing, iFlag partnering up with Freaky Fast Broadcasting. And I gotta say, they bring out some of the best out there in pit road service detail and digital pit boards. Information of anything from telling you your average 5-lap fuel usage that's coming in, what laps fuel remains, as well as gives you that of track temp, weather conditions, all the information a sim racer would need, as well giving you that of clear indications of the flag state that's on track, and just giving you the best, that of providing basic visual spotters information, telling you who's on your left, who's on your right, and where they are. iRacing, iFlag, they're the best out there, and if you don't see iRacing, iFlag on your iFlag visual flag system, well, it's not from them. That means you're not getting the best quality out there. Go get yourself iRacing, iFlag if you want to upgrade yourself with some of the best sim racing gear out there.
Definitely would need to get into that for sure, Sam. Got to get that visual flag system to let you know what is going on out there on the track. But man, I tell you what, right here we've seen this is go time here for King Campbell. If anything, he's got by Kovacic. Now it is a straight beeline up to that number 7 machine of Kyle McCoy. Can he run him down is the question here. He's been slowly getting there, but last time by, Kyle McCoy was actually a little bit quicker. We'll see, can he get it done? I mean, Campbell was passing Kovacic, but still, we'll see as those lap times continue to start to even out. They're staying out here, or this early aggressive strategy of Kyle McCoy may play out, work out very well, but he's going to have to be hitting pit road here around lap 100 or possibly a little bit earlier, since he came in on that lap 48. He could possibly come in 4 laps before then, possibly around lap 96.
And that's honestly, whenever Ken Campbell comes in, that's going to be the indication for whenever Kyle McCoy comes in, that's the indication for Campbell on when you want to come in. Do you want to give him a couple of laps to try to pull away so you got that fresher tire and you can really start working away on the drivers ahead? And right now, I mean, 8-lap difference between the 7 and the 15, able to come back strong, but like you said, starting to see a little bit more speed from the 7 than the 15 right now. Kyle McCoy, he's found something extra here, and also that plateau seems to now hit Ken Campbell. He might have waited just about a lap too late if he really wanted to catch up to Kyle McCoy.
Well, I can tell you, Sam, it's very easy to do what King Campbell, I think, has done. You get out there on them new tires, you are 8 laps fresher than anybody else on that racetrack. You see you have a 10-second gap to make up, and as soon as that happens, you have a mistake. You push a little bit too hard, you overheat those tires. As soon as you get to that driver, the tires have evened out, since that driver up front has been able to kind of run their own pace, not have nobody to catch. When you see that gap, and that's the size of it when you come out of pit road with some of these tire advantages, it is very, very tough as a driver to hold yourself back and not push too hard.
You do not want to give up any type of speed. And as well, talk about iRacing, iFlag partnering up with Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Well, if you go use their promo code FreakyFast2022, get yourself discount code at iRacing, iFlag. As well, some other amazing sponsors out there that we have. ButtKicker, feel what you've been missing. If you have not been feeling, feel like, hey, you're missing out on some of the engagement out there, you feel like you want to enhance more than just having an iRacing iFlag system, well, go get yourself a game or two from ButtKicker. Use our discount code FreakyFast20 for 20% off, getting yourself your game or two. ButtKicker, feel what you've been missing. And our final sponsor of the evening, going to be that at Advanced Sim Racing. Your one-stop shop. If you're trying to build a racing rig, go to Advanced Sim Racing. They've got their own chassis to start out with your build. Then you can find monitor stands, monitors, as well as racing wheels. They've got it all covered at Advanced Sim Racing. Use our promo code FreakyFast5 for 5% off. The sponsors out of the way, we're past halfway. And Zach, it's a race on for that of Kyle McCoy and Ken Campbell. It was less than a second for a moment, and now it's all on Ken Campbell. Can he run down the 7?
Yeah, he's slowly just chipping away at it now, but it's not very much indeed. And the closer he gets, the tougher it's going to get. The more aero disadvantage he will be at once he gets within that 7 right there closer. I mean, at this point here, he's getting a little bit of dirty air effect, but not too bad. The closer he gets, though, the worse it will get, especially as you close in under 1 second. So Ken Campbell right now really thinking over what he did on this pit stop, because right now, it's still 15 laps here before, lap 100 before we can see 50 to go. Ken Campbell is stretching to that 56 point. So, I mean, you could be seeing him stretch it much, much farther here. I don't know if he'll do that in this time, seeing how much the time's going to end up.
Looking at some of the speeds that we're seeing right now, I'm looking at lap times that Derek Offerman is placing down. The lap times that the 20 is putting down, they are resembling a lot of what our leaders are putting down. The help is the fact that he's got out of 10 lap fresher tires than our leader of Kyle McCoy. But this catching up to lap traffic, this is going to be starting to put a little bit more tension on that of Kyle McCoy. Can he get by lap traffic soon enough, or does he just cross his fingers and hope that he can keep this 1 second gap over Ken Campbell? And for Campbell, Zach, I mean, does he think about potentially coming in anywhere from lap 95 to that of 94? We saw Kyle McCoy, he pushed it, I mean, for Ken Campbell, he pushed it to that far in length where he can make it that far on fuel and tires. Do you think about risking it for the 15 of coming in that soon, though?
Yeah, I think he's going to have to think about something, because now he's losing time here. He's even with Kyle McCoy directly in the rear tracks of 2 lap cars right in front of him, he's still pulling away from Ken Campbell. Campbell's just having a tough time of hitting his marks right here consistently, and I do think that's just a case of him pushing very, very hard to close that gap back down. And it is so tough as the driver. I personally can tell you, it is so tough when you have a tire advantage and to really close the gap down and manage the closing of the gap, because you can, like I said, easily over push that race car and your tires are just shot at that point. Where as before, Ken Campbell was out front in front of the 7, pacing himself, just doing enough to stay out in front of that 7, and then when the tire wear really started to kick in, that's when the 15 pulled away. But here, this run is the reverse, as he's had no choice but to run as hard as possible here to close down this gap, and he'll have every few laps where he's quicker, but then he'll have a mistake.
Starting to see a little bit of that accordion effect of, we'll see the 15 close in the gap, then lose it, close in and lose it. If anything, would you throw that out to potentially just working the tires too much, and maybe it's the track temp that could be an issue, or think that there's something else as Derek Offerman goes low, just kind of giving up that position, like finally feeling the pressure and saying, you know what, I'm just going to let you guys duke it out. I'm out of the way.
Yeah, that was a great job by Offerman there. He had been in front of him for a real long time, and as soon as that 7 got any part of his car alongside of him, he lets him go. So great job there by Offerman to let both those drivers go, as they now are on the back straightaway here, and it's closed down to about 0.8 of a second. But I tell you what, it's going to be tough to get up here and get this done here, especially as Kyle McCoy closes in on his zone for a pit stop. I think he's about 5 to 6 laps away from hitting pit road. We'll see if he stays aggressive.
And one of the fan favorites, the 209 of Travis Dart's going to be cracking the top 10. Travis Dart's been a driver that's been on the move, now 1 position from where he started, but he's been staying around that of 12th to 13th for the majority of the race. Now going to be moving up just slightly for that driver. And as we watch and see some of the drivers throughout the field, I got to say, the battle that's closing in as well, still some of our final 4 drivers. That 3rd place position's been keeping it close. Andrew Medlin, Chris Essery, but right now Chris Essery under fire from that of from Aaron Hale. And I gotta say, for Andrew Medlin, he's loving the fact that the 10 is under fire. He's able to try to pull away and build this gap.
Yeah, Andrew Medlin trying to do whatever he can to get away from this 10 machine to have, a shot to be able to try. Hopefully, if we get a caution here, to reset this up and have the best chance to battle these top 2, because they've been somewhat in a class of their own since this race has really gotten past that last lap 20 or 30 mark. As here comes Hale. He's looking to the inside and continuing his strong run at the end of the season after winning at Dover. Aaron Hale here looking to battle with one of the final 4 contenders, showing that he possibly could have been one of those. Really
could have been, just misfortunes knocked the 4 out of an opportunity to race for a championship, and was not able to make it to the Elite 8. And for Aaron Hale, now going to be just riding side by side. This is hurting Chris Essery the most currently right now, as These drivers continue to race on over the radio. Oh boy, almost some contact there for fourth place. Essery and Hale almost making a bump. But over the radio, lad of Kyle McCoy giving a big thanks to his other championship winning driver, Scott Rickard. Not the season, not the night that he wanted, but the 0-5 gets out of the way for our leader. And right now for Kyle McCoy, he's loving the fact that lap traffic is playing kindly for now, but we got to move back up to the lead because that of Ken Campbell once was 11 seconds back, now less than a half a second to our leader.
Yeah, and again here at the very, very end of the run here, right before Kyle McCoy elects to possibly hit pit road here, it is starting to trend towards that 15's hands, especially, you know, that 8-lap tire difference is starting to really show here as this run continues on. As the 7 possibly starting to burn them tires up. He's been in the 31.3s here for the past couple laps. King Campbell able to stay down in them 2s, and right here is where I see it. Is King Campbell can stay nice and low on the track while Kyle McCoy really missing the bottom and washing up off it here as Campbell's closing this down here. This is going to be a crucial portion of this race here when we come to these pit stops here upcoming.
And I talked about it, potentially could be seeing drivers do an undercut of pitting around that of 94 to 95. A couple of drivers came in earlier. That's going to be Aaron Hale and Nick Holland of our championship 4, though, who are racing for it to see who can get it done. That of Chris Essery hitting pit road as the battle for the lead is on. Ken Campbell is there, and you talked about it. He can just run that inside lane so much better, and he's getting right on the back bumper now.
Yeah, got there just a little bit too hot that time. Had to check it up and then cut back down, but still got a good run off the corner compared to the 7, who's really struggling to keep it on the bottom there as the 15 gets right to the back bumper. Can't do it there, though, as the 7 does a good job of just holding it in front of him. As Mike Lynch there, the 2 almost getting the wall into these 2 as they get by here. It's going to be lap 97 that we complete this time by. When does Kyle McCoy come to pit road?
Kyle McCoy, if he wants to come to pit road, he's got to defend that inside lane, and right now it is all Ken Campbell on the back bumper and doing his best. You looked at the stats, he was the favorite to win, but it's been the clutch factor. After getting those 3 wins in the first 3 races, it's been, you know, running well at some tracks, then caught up in a misfortune, run well at a different track, and then, you know, finish upside in the top 5. It has been great finishes, but it has not been the wins. And if you're going to win this championship here tonight, you might have to get the win. And Ken Campbell's putting the pressure on our 2-time champion, Kyle McCoy.
Oh, I thought he had the run there coming out of 4, just is not able to get it done. Has to back out of it a little bit there as they head off into 1. McCoy, though, doing a good job of defending here. And I think that's why he's waiting to pit here. He knows if he can just defend long enough here to where he can get the pit road a little bit later than he did last time, he won't struggle as bad this next run. So right here, this is very crucial for Kyle McCoy here if he wants to be able to win this championship. These 2, though, mano a mano here tonight. This is a great battle.
Want to still give an update, that of Chris Essery. He's back in 18th, but that's because he decided to pit early 3 laps ago for the 10 machine. Our top 3 currently going to be still other 3 drivers from our final 4. You're watching the battling for the lead position. Kyle McCoy, Ken Campbell, Andrew Medlin's going to be about 5.5 seconds back from our leader. Still out on track. And the question of when will he come into pit road also going to be looming. But here comes Ken Campbell. He's no longer waiting. Now going to be going side by side with Kyle McCoy through 3 and 4. Out of the corner. Can he get the run? The advantage going to go to the 7 for now. But Ken Campbell into turn 1 here, Zach. This is going to be his best opportunity to take the lead.
This is going to be his best chance, like you said here, Sam. But the 7 going to try to run this outside groove and try to hold it on the quarter panel of the 15. But the 15 too strong here, able to slide up on the corner exit, up in front of the 7. He is now to the point of the lead and in championship position. Here comes the 7, though, back to the inside.
50 coming to 49 laps to go. A little bit trying to slide job move and a crossover, not able to do so, but he's now at the quarter panel. You think, give it up. Gonna give a bait, wrong exit for the 15, that entry, and now into pit road. Kyle McCoy gonna be the second of our final 4 drivers to hit pit road, and it's gonna be on lap 102, and I think this was kind of as far as he could go. He had to come in this go around.
Yeah, and I think that was beautifully played by him in the 7 machine. If he was going to do that, he had to come down exactly when the 15 passed him, and that is what he waited for. The 15 makes the move. He makes the move like he's going to go back to the inside, but he's only coming to pit road. What a job there by this 7. I think this could very well play out for his favor here But what does Ken Campbell do? Does he elect to do the same thing he did last time and give up the time here? Or does he come a little bit sooner? But Medlin, here's right on board with him. He heads down the pit road from second.
Medlin as well as Jason Gran going to hit pit road, but Andrew Medlin going to be the third of our final four. They're going to hit pit road. And this is, for Andrew Medlin, he's going to need a caution, if anything, at this point, if he wants an opportunity to race, as another driver's going to be passing on by. Ken Campbell continues to stay out on track. But Zach, this is kind of the mind games that you play. If you stay out this late, you're hoping for a yellow, so you could be having that advantage on tires and force the drivers behind you to have to use a wave around and be off, sequence off everyone else. But at the same time, Ken Campbell, the longer he stays out, he has to find a way to run down that 7, and he can still be out here for another about 7 to 8 laps. Is that a Ken Campbell? But do you feel like you can give up that time knowing you're going to have to run down everyone again?
Yeah, I don't think he can, Sam. I think right here he needs to be coming as soon as possible. He does not need to wait as long. And definitely not 8 laps this time. That was way too big of a gap, especially because it took him upwards of almost 50 laps to get back to him even to have a chance. So and right now, I mean, we're 45 to go here when he crosses the line. So not going to have the same amount of time he had there to run down that number 7 machine. So I think he needs to come a little bit sooner, but he looks like he's again electing to wait here and sticking to the strategy he's got. I'm telling you, I think this could go the opposite way of what he thinks it will play out.
This is a 3-lap difference now for Ken Campbell to continue to stay out. And again, talked about potentially maybe if he had pitted a lap sooner, he could have made the pass about 10 to 15 laps sooner. So instead of 8 laps, maybe Ken Campbell thinks about only staying out for another 7 or for a 7-lap difference. That could be the advantage, 4th out of the 15 of Ken Campbell. And if he's doing that, that means he's going to come into pit road around that of lap 110 is going to be the marker for Ken Campbell to make his final stop of the night. But that's if we stay green all the way through.
We'll have to see, does he elect to do that? 110 could be the marker, Sam. Very well could see that being again where he comes down, and that'll give him 40 laps to run down this 7 machine. And that is going to be a short amount of time. And also the other big thing he's got to focus on is he had about a second gap when he pitted, when Kyle McCoy pitted from the first stop. This last pass stop, Kyle McCoy was directly on the bumper, so it's going to be a little bit different also, and a little bit different even shakeup of how the tires are, because Kyle McCoy stretched it longer than he did there on that second run than he did the first. So it's going to be a little bit different scenario, but we'll see. When does Ken Campbell elect to do this here? He's still electing to stay out, and I'm starting to question the strategy, but he goes low here. I think this possibly could be the pit here.
I would be thinking about it, stays out another lap, and now going to be seeing the 7 in his window. And if this is when you've got to be thinking for that of Ken Campbell. He's going to force the issue, make the 7 use a little bit more tires and go on the outside. But now Kyle McCoy is on the lead lap. So if a yellow comes out, the 7 still has an opportunity to come into pit road and take that final set of tires if a late caution comes out, and he'll still be on the lead lap.
Yeah, King killed his best job there to try to hold him up just a teeny bit. But, man, this new tire is just too much here as it continues on here. Lap 109 here as he completes and start 110. We'll see if he comes down this time, Sam. This is going to be that 8-lap difference. We'll see. Does he elect to do it? I think he's got to do it this time. Any longer, I think, is just waiting too long.
If he comes in this time, it's going to be the same exact window that he placed himself on the last time he came in pit road. But if Ken Campbell, technically, he could stretch it out another lap over that. So we'll see. Is this the lap? He's slowing down, but he's going to stay out another lap. He's going even longer than the last time that he stayed. This could be the reason why Ken Campbell doesn't win the championship. But at the same time, he's hoping that having another extra lap of extra tires might work, but he's got lap traffic pressuring the 15. You don't want to get wiped out either.
Yeah, you don't want to get wiped out. And also all this battling here offline like this with these lap cars, he's running much slower lap times than what he should be. He's running 3150s when he could possibly run in 3130s or 3140s. So right now here as he comes to pit road, I think he probably should have done a lap later because that lap there was not a good inline.
That was a miserable lap. And Ken Campbell, if you look at our poll that we have,
fan favorite over the night on people that are picking to win the championship. He's going to be the last of our championship 4 drivers to hit pit road. And now going to be seeing these drivers. Who's going to get it done? Just got word. The poll, it ends with 10 laps to go. So if you haven't voted to see who you think's going to win tonight's championship, put it in the poll in our chat. But Zach, it's now on. Who's going to get it done? And we still have about 2-3 other drivers still need to come to pit road. One being this of Christopher Wade.
Yeah, Christopher Wade, teammate of Ken Campbell there, yet to hit pit road for him, electing to do a similar strategy to his teammate here. So both stretching it out. But man, Kyle McCoy, he's going to have a sizable gap back to that 15 machine right now as Kyle McCoy comes out of turn 4. Ken Campbell's just exiting pit road here now, heading off into turn number 3 as Kyle McCoy heads off into 1. So again, a very big gap.
The gap before for Ken Campbell was 11.5 seconds when he came off the end of our pit cycle on the first time after that lap 56. Now the difference, 15 seconds that we have for Ken Campbell. He's going to have to try to run down Kyle McCoy. He's going to be very quick in these first 15 laps or so, but that's going to be the big gap here, Zach, of when the plateau happens, which we're expecting to hit around that of the end of lap 138 to 140. Those final 10 laps are going to get antsy on if the 15 can even close in close enough. And if he is close enough, how aggressive are we going to see these drivers battling against one another?
Yeah, that gap is gigantic. I don't want to say that is unsurmountable, but man, that is a gap that he's going to have a tough time closing in. I mean, he better get his work boots out because he's got to drive all the way up to that 7 machine within 15 seconds here in these last 40 laps, and really only 35 to go now. I mean, that is a tough task, Sam, and I tell you what, those 2 tires are going to have to work very well for him. He may need some type of caution here if he wants another shot at this thing, though.
Well, here is where they lie currently. Kyle McCoy leading the way. He's in the best opportunity right now based off of what our strategies up in the booth are looking like for the 7. Then you've got another Final 4 contender. Chris Essery is going to be in 3rd place. He's going to be about 4.8 seconds back and is on older tires than Kyle McCoy. He's in a rough spot for himself. 1 lap fresher tires than Kyle McCoy is going to be Andrew Medlin in 4th. And then in 6th place, 12 seconds now. He's cut it down by that of 2 seconds here in 2 laps. Zach, it's got to be close. We know that for sure. But Ken Campbell in 6th. He dominated the first 50 laps of this race. He had over a second, almost a 2-second lead over that of Kyle McCoy. But it's been the pit strategies that have hurt this 15 and could be the reason why he does not come away with the championship here tonight.
Yeah, this pit strategy could very well be that cause. Now down to 12.5 seconds there as he crosses the line again one more time. That's about a second each lap he's done. And, you know, if he could continue on that pace, it'd be an easy pass for him. But that pace will continue to get a little bit closer and closer as this run continues on. You can see Aaron Hell here in 2nd. He's been able to use a lot of strategy to get him up to 2nd. He's just having another fantastic run here on some concrete tracks and showing again why, man, if he was in that Final 4, what could have been.
It really is a what could have been aspect. Well, we're coming up to 30 laps to go. We're going to take our final commercial break. When we come down, it's the last dash. Who's winning the Stars and Stripes Cup Series Championship for Season 4, presented by Sharp Apparel? We'll find out in just a few moments. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, in this right now, the battle to see who's going to be challenging Kyle McCoy, as it's Ken Campbell. He's been held up, and fighting strong was Chris Cesare, who was doing his best to hope to be in the best position, potentially if the yellow flag came out. No longer. Andrew Medlin couldn't hold off Ken Campbell. Now going to be technically second place of those that are in the final four. Racing on, the next driver for Campbell that he needs to get by, going to be Aaron Hale, but that's almost a little bit under 2 seconds the difference. And Zach, we are now coming up to 25 laps to go, and the difference, it was massive. Over 15 seconds was Ken Campbell when he had to march his way through to try to catch up to Kyle McCoy. He's only up to 7 seconds away. I think we're starting to see that plateau in the gap that once was dwindling quickly. It's not looking good for the 15 no more.
No doubt indeed. This is not looking good, especially for how long he got stuck behind the 10 and that 12 machine there. He was battling hard to get by them, and that really held up a lot of his progress and probably hurt a lot of that tire there as he's got his teammate a lap down, Christian Wood, there directly behind him, who probably isn't going to be looking to get around him here since he's going to be trying to give his teammate as much clean air as possible, or just let him go here as soon as possible so he don't have a car on the back end there. But Ken Campbell here, this is a long way to go up here, all the way to Kyle McCoy, and I think it's just going to be a tough ordeal for him to get done. About a second there that last time by, that is a half a second there. That's not going to get it done, so he's going to have to continue to charge here.
Last lap, still a half a second, like you noted on, but I'm wondering for this of Wade, we noted on the draft, not going to be the biggest thing to worry about, but having a driver behind you isn't the worst thing, especially when they're going to have those fresher tires, going to have the faster speed. The draft could be a factor, and I think that's why we're seeing Wade right now just trying to push the 15 along as the pass for second over and done. Hale now falls to third.
Yeah, that's a great point too, Sam. You could have him almost, shoving you along there almost down the straightaways just to give you a little bit of help and backing off in the corners. And so we'll see, does that help Ken Campbell here charge up? And again, continuously, he's quicker than our leader, Kyle McCoy, who were last time by 31.153. Ken Campbell that time there by 30.78. So again, closing the gap down to 6.5 seconds. But we're going to be here entering 20 laps to go here very quickly. And I tell you what, that's not that long here at this place, and you will quickly not be able to close that gap down unless he's able to keep a good bit of pace up. It's tough to do though once this even out happens.
I've been trying to look at the data of when drivers start to really see that plateau action of when they hit the 31.1s, the 31.3s, and that spot where they just continuously are bouncing back and forth. It's usually when they get about 20 to 25 laps into their tire wear sequence, and we start to see that plateau hit. For Ken Campbell, he is 3 laps away. When he comes across the line, going to be 2 laps away from being that of 20 laps into this stint on these tires. And Campbell is starting to find himself just slipping ever so slightly, but I gotta say, he's still putting down some decent times. It's now less than 5 seconds the difference for the lead, but we have 20 laps to go in the plateau. You can see it on the difference. It is starting to march down, and the gap that you were gaining, not as big as it once was, and you still need to be gaining anywhere from 3/10 to a half a second each lap, and soon it's going to be probably less than a 10th.
Yeah, it's going to quickly start to even out very quickly. Like you said, he was only about 3 laps away from that point of the run, and we've already seen Kyle McCoy, once he's entered that portion of the run, he's ran a 31.1 for the last 6, almost 7 laps straight now. So it is, like I said, it's a point where the tires get, and drivers, if you hit your marks each and every lap, you're able to produce a similar lap time each and every time. So at this point, it comes down to really consistency between the drivers and not really tire wear, as he hits his first 31.2 of his run.
Ticker just showing how the gap is really changing between these drivers, and I got to give credit for that to Ken Campbell. At least trying something risky. I think in both of our eyes, also our producer's eyes, just felt like Ken Campbell stayed out maybe about 2-3 laps later than really needed. But at this point, Zach, you made your bed, you got to lay in it, and for that of Ken Campbell,
he might be needing a yellow to come out, just like how Andrew Medlin and Chris Essery, they're going to need a caution to come out if they want an opportunity to race for a championship, to go after that of Kyle McCoy, which McCoy is trying to go for his 3rd championship in 4 seasons in this series. It's been a wild and crazy one. Last season we saw the dominance in the playoffs strike, and once again the playoffs hit, and Kyle McCoy is the driver that's finding himself up front and just having the clutch factor.
I'll tell you the one thing about him too, he's never not willing to go aggressive with the strategy. He will take the chance. He will go and do the undercut where most people wouldn't take that chance, and it's paid off here tonight. He's fought from that 2nd position up into the lead and now controls this race here as we close into 15 to go. And with a 4.8 second gap when we crossed the line last time by, unless something major here happens, I don't see this gap closing down unless we get some type of yellow to bring this field back together. So Kyle McCoy here just needs to be consistent, and he can look to be bringing home that 3rd championship. And what a way to do it, back-to-back championships after the Xfinity Series last season. He'll be going in there looking for 3 in a row possibly next season and looking for that 4th championship. And I mean, this guy has just been on a roll here for 2 seasons in a row now.
It's been a wild one for sure. I mean, Kyle McCoy was the only driver from last season in the Final Four from last season to be able to make it to the Final Four for this season. And now it's come down to the 7 who's been doing so well as we continue to watch Ken Campbell as well as Christopher Wade. Wade going to be a lap down, fresher tires, trying to help his teammates just kind of will this 15 along as the difference is now less than 4 seconds. And for us up in the booth, we're watching and we're keeping an eye on the ticker and timing, but Zach, it's plateaued. It's practically equal at this point. And as the laps tick away, also the poll soon to be closing. If you'd like to throw in your input, who did you think was going to win? The audience throughout the night, they thought Ken Campbell. 40% thought that Ken Campbell was going to get the championship. 30% thought Kyle McCoy. 20% thought Chris Essery. And 10% thought Andrew Medlin, our substitute, coming in for Cameron Sarton. Again, got to give a shout out to Cameron Sarton, Rookie of the Year. Really would have been a threat here tonight to go for the win and a championship. That 13 had a fabulous season, but had some work obligations, so was not able to show up here tonight. But Zach, I feel like tonight it could have been the talking point of 3 different drivers in our top 3 that could have been racing for a win here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. It could have been for a lot of drivers here, and you got to feel for Ken Campbell a little bit so far. I mean, just missing it, what it seems like to be the strategy. He's had the speed, set on the pole, controlled the race for that first portion of this race, even ran Kyle McCoy back down in that last run there to now be about 4.5 seconds short of possibly looking at a championship. But he's got to stay in this race. If something happens, if a yellow flag flies, he has got to keep his mind in this game because, man, pit road is going to be very, very busy for these drivers if they do get a yellow.
Oh, the whole entire field still have an extra set just hanging around and waiting. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, who interacted with our poll, as it was fun to have the poll up all night long, but it is now coming up to 10 laps to go. Kyle McCoy leading the way, and the difference, it hasn't changed much. It is still a little bit under that of 4 seconds between first and second place. And you got to give it credit to the pit strategy call. The driver that pitted the soonest of our Championship 4 drivers on the first go-around, then on the second go-around, waited until he had to, and finally felt like he was comfortable coming to pit road. And Kyle McCoy built a big enough lead where Ken Campbell, staying out, tried to have the freshest tires possible and just could not run down the 7. He's going to need a chaotic mess or anything to go catastrophic for the 7 if the 15 wants to run down that of Kyle McCoy.
Yeah, and I tell you what, he's got some lap traffic up ahead, so there's possibilities of something could happen here. You got Nick Holland definitely up ahead there in that 68 machine. You got a 33 of Brian Burchett not too far ahead, and then also Travis Dart, who's a good sizable marshal there. So it looks like just about 2 cars here directly from these next 9 laps. But I tell you what, Kyle McCoy here, oh, he can just take this, hopefully these last 9 laps in green for his sake. Because, oh man, there you see Nick Holland have the mistake. He goes on the apron. He's going to let the leader by there. So you can say, there you go. That is all that needs to happen there for Kyle McCoy to get in trouble, is someone having a simple mistake like that and not catch it like Nick Holland did.
That little bit of a slip up costed 4/10 of a scare as Kyle McCoy losing just a little bit of ground
Ken Campbell, it's now 3.5 seconds is going to be the difference between first and second place. 8 laps to go, coming to 7 to go for the 7 machine of Kyle McCoy. And I got to say, for Kyle McCoy, it has been, it wasn't the strongest start of the season for the 7 at moments. I think we were kind of terrified if Kyle McCoy was even going to be able to find that playoff running speed that he had last season. He has done fantastic after getting his first win at Pocono. It has been a trickling of get a win here or there, and then once the playoffs came around, it was all business. And Kyle McCoy trying to do kind of similar to what he did last season. He won 4 of the 5 playoff races. Well, this go around, he's trying to win 3 out of the 5 playoff races this season.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to put the label of clutch on anybody that we call here Freaky Fast, I think it's got to go to this guy. It just seems like the second half of the seasons and then playoffs is where the 7 turns it on, and right now he's in the catbird seat to drive it into the championship position with 6 to go, coming to 5 to go. About 3.5 seconds. Ken Campbell still closing it down, but it's just going to be a little bit too late for Ken Campbell.
Yeah, I mean, Ken Campbell, again, just staying out 3 laps too late. And our thoughts, the math just looked right. If he had, instead of trying to stretch it out for 9-lap difference on tires, instead went with 7-lap difference on tires, I think the 15 would have been closer, would have had a better opportunity. And as well, you got to throw out the fact that he stayed out too long. And Zach, those final 2 laps, when the 15 stayed out, there was so much lap traffic that was forcing Ken Campbell to lose more and more time. That really, I think that was another factor on why Ken Campbell just, the positioning was not there here late in this race. 4 laps to go, but Ken Campbell, like I said, he needs something catastrophic to happen for the 7 if he wants an opportunity to try to run down and go for a championship run here late, coming up to potentially 3 laps to go when they cross the line.
Yeah, I think it was monumentally missed time there, unfortunately, from Ken Campbell. And, it's hard for him in the driver's seat to judge all this, where the traffic is at on the track. I know they speak a lot about this in F1 racing, at least. When you pit, you try to plan where you come out on the track. It's some clean track to be able to make up time with those tires and not have to battle traffic. And I think that's another thing that kind of played into the 15's, a downfall here in this last part of this race is he came out of the track not only after having to battle lap traffic coming into pit road, he then comes out and has to get by Chris Sessery, Andrew Mellon as they're battling. And that just takes the wear out of the tires, and that just makes it a lot tougher to be able to come and battle back from this. But looks like he'll possibly get it under 3 seconds, but as we come to 2 to go, he is not looking like he'll be able to get this done.
Not looking like it for now, and Ryan Burchett going to be able to get out of the way for the 7. A little bit of a scare coming out of the corner that made a little bit more of time be lost, but 2 laps ago as we come across the back end. And Zach, it's been a great run for the 7 of Kyle McCoy, but it has been an incredible season coming out of turn number 4. Hoping to see that white flag to make this race official out of turn number 4. It is that of Kyle McCoy. Your Freaky Fast white flag is up in the air, trying to go for his 3rd championship in this series of the Stars and Stripes. And Zach, it's looking good here for the 7.
1.33 miles left for the 7 machines. He exits out of turn 2, down the back straightaway, a 2-time champion, now looking to become a 3-time champion here with back-to-back championships here at the Stars and Stripes Racing League.
McCoy, he came in with the most championships with 2. Well, let's make it 3. He also had the most wins with 4. Make it 5, as it's gonna be the 7 of Kyle McCoy winning once again for the Stars and Stripes Cup Series, and presented by Sharp Apparel. Your champion of Season 4 is Kyle McCoy by 2.6 seconds over Ken Campbell. And Zach, for Kyle McCoy, he does it again. 3 wins in the playoffs out of 5 races. It has been just all the 7.
Domination indeed, and man, a 3-time champion here burning it down. And I tell you what, the 7's having a great time there as you see him on the pit road. What a way to do it there. Man, 3 championships, but to have 2 in a row also, and 3 championships in 3 different cars. I think that's the other point we need to point out to these people. This guy's done this thing in different machines, and now I'm going to head off into another one next season. I wouldn't doubt if he's going to be the favorite for that one too.
Yeah, you talked about different cars. Season 1 was the ARCA cars. Kyle McCoy won the inaugural season. Season 2, he saw that being taken away by Scott Rickard in the trucks, but last season the Xfinity dominated by the Kyle McCoy late. And here in the Gen 6 Cup car, Kyle McCoy wins Season 4 of the Stars and Stripes series as he does the Polish lap here for the Stars and Stripes Championship race by that of Sharp Apparel. We're going to step aside when we come back. We'll talk to our top three, the elation of our winner, champion now, Kyle McCoy, and the heartbreak from Ken Campbell. And we'll also get a note from a one-time winner this season and a great finish, Aaron Hale. Great job for himself. What a season it's been. And Zach, I cannot wait to see what Season 5 gives us. As again, we'll be back in just a few for our post-race show here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting.
And we are back here, everybody, at Freaky Fast Broadcasting with the Stars and Stripes Racing League at our season finale here at the Nashville Superspeedway as we've crowned a champion, Kyle McCoy. But first, let's talk to our third place finisher tonight, Aaron Hill, one of the drivers on the upswing here at the end of the season. Let's hear from this Ford machine after another strong run here on the concrete. Hey, Aaron, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Hey, Zach, I got you.
Well, buddy, once again up here in the booth with us, man. Another great run in this Ford machine. And, you had the win there at Dover, the concrete here at Nashville. How do you feel like that transfer, man? Because you were, once again, really, really strong.
It's funny that you say that. And I was talking to Paul earlier tonight. Went during practice. And I think this track feels a lot like Dover. It doesn't pay to abuse your tires. You have to kind of take it easy. The only thing different is the overcut wasn't working quite the same. But otherwise, yeah, there's a lot of similarities. And hey, I say next season we just run all concrete, Bristol, Nashville, and Dover and call it good.
It worked out pretty well for you there, man, for sure. It was looking strong this season on the concrete for you, no doubt. But, now we head off into the unknown, man, the next gen car. How much experience do you have in that for our next season upcoming? Because, you had a great showing here in the playoffs. Unfortunately, the start of the playoffs is you would have wanted it better, but the ending here has got to be a big confidence boost for you.
Yeah, it really is. Finishing the season strong really helps. It's kind of a bummer that I wasn't in the playoffs, but hey, I wouldn't have won the championship anyway. But it's good to end on a high note. And the next gen car, I don't have a ton of experience. Try to race, a A-class race every week. It's going to be a little harder to drive, I think, but there's going to be a lot of similarities. So the main difference, what I'm going to try to do this season is be on iRacing more, race on Thursday nights when we have some practice races and kind of keep up with it. Last season, I kind of took that time off. So I think I'm going to try to stay at it, and hopefully we can get some better results out the gate, and hopefully it'll transfer towards the end of the season.
Well, man, you've been on some type of roll here at the very end of the season, and hopefully it can continue on to the next. But before we let you get out here and get prepared for the next Shin car, Aaron, anybody want to send a shout out to for this season?
Yeah, I just want, like always, give a shout out to my wife for helping me make some time to come down here and hang out with you guys every week. Congratulations to Kyle. He had a great season. Also, Ken winning the first 3 races, and he was strong all year. Everybody at Revolution Motorsports, great group of guys, and Nate, and everybody who puts on the league, and you guys for covering us every week. Great stuff.
Well, thank you very much, Aaron. You have a great night, buddy. Have a great off season here, and we'll catch you next time we come back for next season.
Thanks, fellas.
All righty, everybody. That was your third place driver here tonight. Aaron Hell in the 4 machine. What a drive it was for him, able to pull off another great finish here at the end of the season. And again, like you said, concrete. He must be the concrete master. We'll have to watch out for him in the next gen cars. We head off the concrete tracks next season. But now we'll move on to the driver who just came up short on the championship. The driver who won the first 3 races of the championship. The one who had, I'd say, the breakout season for a lot of these guys out here. The 15 of Ken Campbell, man, he is just unfortunately going to miss the pit strategy here possibly and come up a little bit short with the battle with Kyle McCoy. Hey, Ken, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man.
Hey, I got you.
Well, Ken, I tell you what, man, a hard fought battle between you and Kyle. It just seems like strategy was the way it went tonight. Man, take us through that there because it's got to be a kind of a bittersweet ending for your season. Such a strong one to start off with. You come out here tonight, man, it's such a strong showing here, but just coming up a little bit short.
Yeah, I knew pit strategy was gonna be a difference maker, and so I did a lot of testing, and in all of my testing, staying out was the play to make. If you stayed out and run it to the end, it ended up being about a second and a half ahead. But that doesn't account for McCoy just being insane on his pit entry. Pretty sure that he's going 85 every single time. He always seems to gain like 2 or 3 seconds on pit entry, and just got caught up in some traffic there at the end when Medellin and Essery were fighting, and that cost me a little bit of time. I don't think I would have caught him. I was catching him at the end, but I think I could have made it a lot closer and maybe make him look up in the mirror a little bit more. But it was a fantastic race. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything else. And, coming in second to McCoy is a lot like winning because he wins a lot. So,
yeah, definitely. Kyle, 3-time champion now, definitely a tough one to beat for sure, man. And you definitely were rolling with him right there for sure this whole race, and put him on his heels. He had to definitely fight strong for this one, man. So a great season, Ken. I tell you what, it was a pleasure calling your races all this season, watching you really, prove, grow and prove as a driver that you're one of these top contenders out here, man. And now, we seen the transition from you to the Xfinity car to the A car here in this Gen 6 Cup Series car. Now, next season, I'm going to ask it to each of you drivers. I talked to Aaron about it. What do you feel like going into the next Gen Cup Series car? How much experience do you got? And how do you feel like after this season with a good confidence boost going into the next?
Well, I've run one league with them and did okay. Wasn't a huge fan of the car, but at the same time, I've been just getting better as a driver. Been getting more familiar with the car in preparation for next season, and don't hate it, don't love it, don't hate it, and gotta put some time in during the off season. Plan on doing that, and giving these guys a run for the money next season.
Well, man, it's gonna be fun to see the progression of everybody next season as we head off with that next gen car. But Ken, before we let you get out here and go celebrate your second place finish and second place result in the championships, man, anybody want to send a shout out to?
Yeah, as always, first and foremost, my wife and kids for supporting me at sim racing and everything that I do. Really, they're fantastic. My mom and sister, they always watch the broadcasts, and I've got some buddies watching. So what's up to you guys? Everybody at my team did a fantastic job, and we actually won the team championship tonight. So really proud of my team coming in strong all season long. Car sponsors, Campbell's and Auburn University. League sponsors, Sharp Apparel, ButtKicker, Next Level Racing, and you guys up in the booth.
Well, thank you very much, Ken. Congrats on the team championship, buddy, and we'll catch you next season in the next gen car.
Thanks, guys. Storm's coming.
There you go. You heard it, guys, from our second place driver, Ken Campbell. What a ending to his season. Just coming up a little bit short after starting on such a strong note. He ends his season strong, no doubt indeed, with a second place finish. But the man of the hour, the man of the night here at Nashville, he had to fight for this one here to get this third championship. 2 in a row. It's back-to-back championships for Kyle McCoy. Let's hear from the 7 machine after a third championship here at the Stars and Stripes Racing League. Hey, Kyle McCoy, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man.
Hey guys, I gotcha.
Well, buddy, I tell you what, 3 championships. How does that sound?
It's exciting, man. I had to work for this one, so I'm really happy about it.
No doubt indeed. Yeah, let's get to that work, man, because strategy there for that majority of the first run, stuck behind King Campbell, was able to stick with him for majority of that run and really put the pressure on him. But it seems like that dirty air really did a work to those tires, man. You make the early aggressive pit stop, and then from there, I mean, I gotta say, masterclass strategy. How did that all come together from the driver's seat?
Yeah, I mean, I had to do something because he was driving away from me there at the end of that run, and I was like, oh man, I if I could have kept it close, I would have just pit with him and just tried to make up time that way. But I had to do something different because he was driving away at the end of that run. Got behind his air, and like you said, I was just sliding up off the corners and couldn't keep the right front. So yeah, did something different. I knew. Oh man, I spent the whole race looking at the relative because I knew he was going to be coming the whole time. There usually the undercut is a great strategy, but when you got these tracks that don't quite wear out so bad, you can get away with an overcut because your lap times at the end of the run are just kind of stagnant. You don't continue to fall off. So I knew that there was a possibility for the overcut to work. There were people making it work, and Ken was one of them. I mean, he caught me back on that second run, and I just the whole run, I was just trying to preach to save my tires. I had to slow myself down so much just to make sure I kept something on it for when he got there. And I feel like this whole season has been like this culmination of me not being able to do that. So to be able to keep the tires on it tonight, it's a good track for me, and I can't discount that. But to be able to keep that on and keep him behind me, I mean, Ken ran a heck of a race, so I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, no doubt indeed, dude. You guys were battling super hard the whole time there during the majority of this race, and it was gonna come down to a barn burner there, and it seems like he got stuck behind a few cars there, man, and could not run you down at the end. So you end up our champion here tonight, man. 3 times, 3 different cars, also those championships. Now we head off into another new car, the next NASCAR next gen car, man. I mean, how much experience do you have, and how do you feel about maybe possibly going for a three-peat of in a row in that 4th championship?
Oh my gosh, this is so hard to do. It scares me to even think about. I mean, this one was the toughest one, I would say. I mean, I wish we could have seen what Cam could have given us tonight too. Um, would love to win it with the 4 guys that made it. Andrew ran a heck of a race anyway, so he's plenty competitive. But would have liked to see Cam in there to kind of finish out the season because he and I kind of went back and forth this season, and so shout out to him too, and shout out to my 3 championship competitors. Obviously, they all ran great races, but to get to your question, um, the next gen hadn't run it a lot until about a couple months ago. I've done a little bit more practice with it now that I feel like iRacing's got it figured out and more realistic. I mean, for a while it was just kind of a drafty race and there wasn't really much to be learned, but now it's a heck of a car to drive. So we're gonna see more wrecks, I guarantee that much. Um, and I feel good in the car, but there's gonna be guys that have this car figured out because it drives so much different from. I mean, it's kind of a mix of this car and the Xfinity car, which I mean I know I won both championships, but it's its own beast. So uh, no expectations. We're just gonna go in. We're joining a new team next year, which I'm excited about, so we can be part of the team conversation a little bit. But I don't know what to expect. You better just tune in and watch some races. There's gonna be some good ones, I guarantee you. Short tracks will be fun, hopefully. And yeah, I'm excited for next season already.
Oh yeah, no doubt. We're excited too, man. Well, I'll tell you what, don't get too excited. You need to go celebrate this championship, man, because I tell you what, you never know when the next one will come, even though you got 3. So definitely cherish this one, man. But before we let you get out of here, Kyle, and go celebrate that championship here tonight, anybody want to send a shout to for your season?
Yeah, shout out to my teammate Brian. He stuck with me when when we couldn't keep our whole team together. But Brian stuck it out and made this a heck of a season. I think he got a top 10 here to end the season, which is fantastic. It really started running well at the end of the year, so I'm excited to see what he's got in the next gen too. So super appreciate his help and hard work. We were at it this week, and he always teaches me things one way or another. So I really appreciate him sticking it out. Thanks to Nate and Derek for putting the league on. They run a great league. And I'm sure they're going to bring in a whole new crop of guys that are going to be competing for next year's championship too. So keep your eye on that. This field doesn't stay the same. There's too many good guys in this group now. And speaking of, shout out to all the guys in this race tonight. I mean, they all race with class and just patience. There wasn't a single guy that I had any problems with tonight. They took care of all four of the championship guys, and really appreciative of the clean racing that we get to have in this league. I know maybe it's not the most exciting at the end of the races, but for us, it's really nice to get it to play out the way it's supposed to. And so, loved it tonight. Really proud of our team this year, even though we didn't compete much for the team ship. Hopefully that'll happen next year. And yeah, shout out to you guys for putting the broadcast on. Really appreciate having you guys up there. You guys, every time I watch, you guys pull out something new, and I'm like, man, they put on a heck of a broadcast. So keep it up. We really appreciate having you guys on. Hopefully stick around, and we'll see you next season.
Yeah, man, we cannot wait, Kyle. I tell you what, man, celebrate this championship, buddy. Have fun with it, and we'll catch you back here in the next gen car. We can't wait. We're super excited because you guys always put on a show, buddy.
Appreciate it, boys. Yes.
And there it is, everybody. That's the 7 of Kyle McCoy there, your champion here tonight at the Stars and Stripe Racing League. What a drive for him to get that third championship here at the Nashville Superspeedway. And, man, a tough one indeed. Had to battle with the best of them there. Ken Campbell starting off the season. We thought, man, could anybody beat Ken Campbell at the beginning of the season? And it shows. You know, you got to wait till that last race of the season to see who's going to be that champion. And it was a titanic battle between that 15 and the number 7. Also, great runs from Medlin and Chris Esser, who are going to bring home in 4th and 5th. But we're going to bring up our race results here so you can see where your favorite drivers finished tonight. Is our top 10 Freaky Fast top 10 here is Kyle McCoy, of course, winning that championship. Second's going to go to the 15 of Ken Campbell. Third is going to go to Aaron Hill after a great finish in the playoffs there after a win at Dover a couple weeks ago. Medlin going to bring it home 4th and finishing 3rd in the championship. 5th is going to go to Chris Essery with him taking on that 4th position in the championship. 6th is going to go to Jason Gratton. 7th is going to go to Trey Jackson. 8th is going to go to Kyle Bowling. 9th is going to go to Travis Dart. And rounding out that field there is Brian Burchett in the top 10 position. Great run for him there to get that top 10 as we look through the rest of the field. Definitely some drivers back there like Scott Rickard in that 17th position. Tough end of the season for him after a really good mid-portion. He's going to be looking to rebound when we head off into his next gens along with a few other guys. But what a night it's been here at the Nashville Superspeedway. Great racing all around this track. We got the crown of champion. We got to see 2 drivers that really had a heck of a battle when it came down to strategies here. And, man, the guy who ends out on top is the one you see on our screen. That's the 7 of Kyle McCoy. What a championship season. And don't miss out because we'll be back here next season with the next gen car here at the Stars and Stripes Race League. It's about a month away, but it'll be very, very soon. We'll be right back here with you on Thursday night. So don't miss out there on that. If you also want to check out some of our other races we got going on, they'll be going on Saturdays and Mondays here in the next future here at Freaky Fast while the off season here for Stars and Stripes. So make sure you check us out there by hitting that subscribe button so you can be notified and let known that every time we go live, and also with that bell notification button that'll send you a notification that says, hey, we're live and we got a video up. So make sure you hit both of those buttons and you can be notified when we go live to have some more sim racing action while this off season is going on for the Stars and Stripes Racing League. And also hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed tonight's race. But what a race it was. Thank you to all our sponsors. Thank you to the Stars and Stripes League for a season like this. It was so great to call a full season here for us here. And I cannot wait for the NASCAR next gen car. But thank you all for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to call. As always I say, stay freaky fast.